So what if technology could actually understand pretty much every single language on Earth? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But today, we're going to dive into how Meta is making that a reality with just one single AI model. And this isn't just about convenience. It's about bridging a massive gap that has left billions of people behind in our digital world.
But first, let's try a little thought experiment. Just imagine for a second that your native language, the one you think in, the one you use with your family, was totally invisible to technology. No Siri, no Alexa, no transcription apps, no way for any of your devices to understand a word you say. Well, for billions of people, that's not an experiment, it's just reality.
And that brings us to this huge and often kind of invisible problem, what's called the digital language divide. It's this enormous gap where most of the world's 7,000 or so languages are just completely left out of all the tech progress we see every day.
Now, this isn't just a minor inconvenience, right? It's a fundamental barrier. A barrier to information, to essential services, and really to just being part of the global online conversation. It creates this silent kind of digital exclusion, basically pushing entire communities to the sidelines.
So, you have to ask, how do you even start to fix a problem that big? Well, Meta's answer is a super ambitious project designed to do exactly that, to build a bridge across that divide.
And when you put the old way of doing things next to this new approach, you can see just how radical this shift is. Old systems, they only focus on a few dozen major languages and needed these huge, perfectly labeled data sets. Meta's approach? It can work with just a tiny bit of data. This isn't just a simple upgrade. It's about completely democratizing access for communities that have, until now, been totally overlooked. Just let this number sink in for a second. Over 1,600 languages. That is a massive leap from the, few dozen that most systems support. We are talking about hundreds and hundreds of languages, getting a digital voice for the very first time. It's incredible.
So what is this thing exactly? Well, at its core, Omnilingual ASR is one gigantic AI model. Its whole job is to listen to spoken words from a huge number of languages and just turn them into written text. Basically, it's one model to understand them all. Now, I know this might sound a little bit like magic, but there is some seriously brilliant engineering going on behind the scenes. So let's peel back the curtain and see how this system can possibly learn so many languages, especially the ones with hardly any data out there.
Okay, the secret sauce here, the real breakthrough, is something called self-supervised learning. The best way to think about it is like how a baby learns to understand language, right? They don't get flashcards with labels, they just listen. They listen to the world around them, and they start to absorb the basic patterns and sounds of human speech all on their own.
The process is kind of like that. First, the model just listens to thousands of hours of raw, unlabeled audio from all over. From that, it starts to figure out the core patterns of how humans speak. And once it has that foundation, it can adapt to a totally new language with just a few specific examples, without having to be retrained from scratch every single time. And the engine driving all of this is, well, it's colossal. The model has 7 billion parameters. You can think of those parameters like the neural connections in a brain. It's that immense scale that gives it the power to get all the subtle nuances, the different dialects, and the unique accents across thousands of languages. And get this, it has another really cool trick up its sleeve called in-context learning. This lets the model adapt on the fly. You can feed it just a handful of audio clips paired with text from a language it's never seen before, and boom, it can start transcribing almost right away. This makes adding new languages incredibly fast and efficient.
Okay, so the theory sounds amazing, but the big question is, does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the performance and what this could all unlock.
This chart really highlights something crucial. It's not just about the number of languages, it's about the quality. Especially for what we call long-tail languages, the ones with fewer speakers and less data out there, Omnilingual ASR is often outperforming some of the big rivals, like OpenAI's Whisper. And the accuracy is pretty staggering. For almost 80% of all the languages it supports, the error rate is less than 10%. To get that level of precision across such a huge and diverse set of languages, wow, that is a massive milestone. So what does this actually mean for us? Well, this opens up a ton of possibilities. We could see voice assistants that speak hundreds of new languages. We could have powerful transcription tools for journalists and researchers working in these underserved communities. And we could see brand new features built right into the apps we use every day, like WhatsApp and Instagram. But when you step back, this is about more than just a single cool product. It's really about laying the foundation for a much more inclusive and connected digital world, a world where technology finally speaks everyone's language.
And maybe the most important part of this whole story is that Meta didn't just keep this amazing tech for themselves. They've open-sourced the model. This is so crucial. It means any developer, any researcher, any community group out there can now take this technology and build on it, tweak it for their own needs, and speed up innovation for all of us.
It's also really important to remember that this wasn't built in some isolated lab. This was a massive team effort. It relied on open data from projects like Mozilla Common Voice and on recordings from communities all over the planet who just wanted their languages to finally be heard.
Which leaves us with a final, really powerful thought. This tech, it's about so much more than just transcription. It's about giving a digital voice to entire cultures, to stories, and to ideas that have been silent online for way too long. So the ultimate question isn't just about what the technology can do. It's this. When every language finally has a voice, what incredible new ideas will the world finally get to hear?